Hi everyone, it's Natasha and this is my pregnancy vlog part 4. I am going to kind of title this, and this is probably the first one that I have a title it for. It is called The Ugly Truth of Pregnancy because it's not really pretty topics. And I'm gonna share with you guys what I have used and what I have found successful and what I believe everybody who's pregnant needs. A lot of people don't want to think about it, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's embarrassing and it's not really a pretty topic. We're going to be talking about hemorrhoids and body pillows and skin irritation, and it's just going to be a lot of like kind of gross stuff at some point. So anyway, I want to start off with the hemorrhoids because I believe a lot of people don't want to talk about this, and it was really hard for me to find reviews or people sharing their experience with this because it's not the prettiest and shiniest topic you can think about. It's one of those like hush hush, only your best friends are going to talk about, and it's not really going to help a lot of people when we do that, you know. So I wanted to do that for you guys. So what I have managed to use is I discovered that witch hazel, from everything that I read on, is really good for hemorrhoids. I forgot the chemical compound or what the reason why it helps the inflammation and the pain and all of the stuff that it comes with. Why witch hazel is like the #1 ingredient that you use. I forgot what it was. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, I would suggest, but it doesn't even matter anyway. You know, it doesn't, this is not like a science documentary. We're talking about pregnancy. So anyway, there's something in witch hazel that does help with inflammation. It helps with pain and all that stuff. It doesn't take all of it all away if you're like a #10 pain, it's not going to take all of that away. So what you're also going to need is something like this, which is a hemorrhoidal ointment. And it says it's fast temporary relief of pain, itching, and burning due to hemorrhoids. Now, if you're already on a scale of 1 to 10, you're already on a 10 scale, or at least a 6 or a 7 or 8, this is going to take about 1 or 2 days, maybe 3. Because you are in that much pain. I mean, it was for me. What I did is, if I used the bathroom in any reason, I would still wipe myself back there with something like this. I initially started with a brand name, which is more expensive than this. It was 100 pads and probably cost 50% more or more than that. So I didn't know about this until, you know, after my second jar of the brand name, and I kind of thought there must be another solution. So I looked around and I saw this, which was cheaper, and I tried it out. I did find a lot of people reviewing saying that this is way thinner and they didn't feel it was a good product and everything. I never really thought it was like extremely thin. It never ripped on me. I don't know what people are doing. You're not supposed to rub this on like the ground. You know, you're rubbing this on something soft, which is your behind. So I don't know what they're doing with it, but this worked fine. I don't have a lot of it anymore. And I'm not planning on buying more because what I decided and what I discovered was I have one of these jars. And I have a lot of cotton rounds, which is what I use when I use my toner or wipe off waterproof makeup. So, I mean, you're always gonna need cotton something. Cotton balls, cotton rounds, cotton squares. They're always gonna be at home. You know, in case something happens, you get a cut. You need something like that, you always have that. So I have this. I have a bunch of cotton rounds because I prefer these than the cotton balls. I also prefer them than the cotton squares. So I kind of thought, you know what? I got this cute little jar in which can be portable as well. When I leave the house, I can put this in my bag. Instead of bringing something this huge, this is better. And what I got is I got a container of witch hazel, which everything that I'm going to talk about, there are going to be links down below for you guys to look at them and get the best price. They're always going to be down below, and from every kind of from every video that I do, anything that I talk about, it's always going to be down there. So I just got like a 12, I think it's a 12 or 16 ounce, just purely witch hazel. This says maximum strength and medicated cool relief. That's where I got the idea from, because it can burn and it does feel kind of awful. So I kind of thought, okay, let me look for a witch hazel liquid, just plain witch hazel that is also cooling, because I really didn't find this cooling at all. Witch hazel is already kind of refreshing and a little bit cooling, but the cooling I'm thinking of is like a minty cooling, you know? In the back, it says witch hazel is 50%. And I think the one that I have, that I bought, is 100%. So it is a little bit more heavy duty. And I do like that. And I have read, you know, online and other products that that's fine. It's not like when you use something stronger than 50% witch hazel down there for that kind of reason, that it's going to be a bad idea or a bad side effect on it. It's not. So what I've used is this, and this is probably one of the cheaper ointments you can get. Majority of the whatever is the ingredient here to keep it on you is petroleum jelly. And a lot of ointments, especially like prescription medication, is usually based out of petroleum because it stays in your skin really. It's lightweight, stays in your skin long, whatever. So this supposedly had Lidocaine 1%. I don't know the difference between Lidocaine versus Lidocaine, because I even talked to my doctor about it, and he said they're just, I don't know if Lidocaine is stronger or Lidocaine is stronger. He doesn't know. So he prescribed me with Lidocaine 5% because I asked him for that. And they can prescribe you with that if it is too much for you, because there are going to be days, it's not going to be every day, hopefully, but there are going to be days that you're going to have a flare-up, and it's going to be so painful and excruciating that something like a Lidocaine is really going to help. Now, from my experience and what I've noticed, when you use something like this, it does help numb the pain and all that stuff. However, it doesn't really get rid of it. You still have to use the witch hazel. And what I discovered was this, Forces of Nature. It's called Forces of Nature Hemorrhoid Control Extra Strength. Now, I don't have a lot of it left because it tipped over and spilled. But you use, like, depending on how much pain you're getting, 2 to 3 drops, 3 if you're doing a lot. I think 3 is fine with me, but try what you can. Start with a 1 drop, and then a 2, and then a 3, because this is kind of pricey for this small jar. It does work though. What I have noticed, if I only use this, the pain doesn't go away. However, it does help contain it for it not to get worse. So if your flare up is like, let's just say is a 9 or an 8 and it's even bleeding, what this will do is make sure the flare up isn't going to go to a 10 or worse. It's going to stay there and slowly get better. But it doesn't take away the pain. So you're still going to need this, because this is just for numbing. This does not do what this can do. This actually helps pull in the flare up down faster and than this. This is when I was just using the witch hazel and this, I had to use this every time I used the washroom. And sometimes even more, even if I wasn't using, because especially when you're having a really bad flare up, And I noticed that, you know, I would skip like a couple of days, and because I skipped 2 days and I didn't use this one, what would happen is I would have a really bad flare up that it hurt so much and it bled so much that I was like really, really scared. So this does kind of numb it. It does kind of help, but you have to do it every day. This one, when you've kind of toned it down, after a while, from my experience, all you got to do is use this at least once a day, sometimes twice, and it's fine. Like, this really helped kind of prevent any kind of flare up, you know, any kind of pain, any kind of flare up and all that stuff. The only thing I don't skip anymore is this one. I do not skip the witch hazel at all. No matter, you know, no matter what I'm doing, I use this at least. Because, you know, when you're pregnant, your blood, even if you're not drinking water, excuse me, your blood is being siphoned, and a lot of the excess becomes urine. And all the nutrients and all the vitamins and all the other good stuff that your fetus needs is being directed towards the fetus. So even if you're not ingesting any kind of liquid, you're still going to constantly urinate because of that. Now, every time I do that, I always use the witch hazel. So that's why I recommend all of these things. And I'm going to put all the links down below so it's easier for you guys to find it. Let's see. I returned it to my bag. So the Lidocaine, I do recommend this if you do have something like extreme, because through my insurance, this wasn't very expensive. I still had to pay $10 for it though. But, you know, if you guys think it might be cheaper to just get over the counter, just make sure you do the witch hazel, this, and you're probably going to have to use this more frequently than I do if you can't really get like 5% lidocaine. I mean, they do sell 4% lidocaine over the counter now, so you can use that. I mean, there's no problem. I mean, I've even shown you guys, you know, I have a 4% lidocaine, but, you know, if you can, try this one too. You know, that 1% it's a big difference. Your stomach, certain areas of your body are going to itch. It's going to be your stomach, it's going to be your butt, and boobs, because these are the three primary places that will really grow. My butt does feel a little bit fuller. I don't think it grew so much. My husband says my breasts have just kind of grown a lot. I don't really see it, but it probably also is because I see it every day. I see it 24/7, and I just don't notice it. So I would recommend, please get a really good body butter, especially on those areas. I mean, it's the summertime right now, and I rub body butter on my belly, on my butt. My boobs not so much, but on my butt and on my belly, because what I notice is that if you don't do that, they dry out really fast and it can get itchy, and you don't want to do that. Because it's summertime, the rest of my body, I do just use body lotion, but on those two parts that I know are kind of growing and seems to get dry very fast, I put the thicker stuff. Don't forget to get a heat pad. It doesn't matter what kind, it doesn't matter what brand, it doesn't matter. My husband got me an electric heat pad. I don't know the brand, but it's not recommended to put it on your belly. The heat pad was for my legs and my back. The way the fetus is, my baby or my fetus was positioned is that it's on the front and the placenta is in the back. What I have been told is as long as the placenta is not in the bottom, everything is perfect. As long as it's in the back, and the sides, or the front, everything's fine. No worries. So our placenta is in the back. So all the pressure, I do get a lot of pressure on my back. And they said because there's something growing inside of you, you're still going to get a lot of pressure on your back. With me, I sit like this. And because it's not really advised to use a recliner so much because it can cause your fetus to be in reclined position. And by the time that you're going to deliver, you're probably going to get a C-section because your fetus didn't flip. Okay? And it's dangerous for them to come throughout, which they call breech, and with like feet first or butt first. That's really dangerous. So that you're going to get a C-section, which is very, very medically risky. More dangerous. If you have to do it, you have to do it. But it's more dangerous. You have higher chances of infection, as well as it's tougher on your body, especially decades to come. Also, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of that thing that it's in my head. Also, it's more expensive, and the recovery time alone is going to be worse. So, everybody, you do want to avoid a C-section as much as you can. So because of the pressure that's building, and even if the placenta isn't really placed in the back, it's just mine is, because there's pressure growing from your torso that you're not used to, your back really is taking a toll. Because like when I'm losing balance and I have to grab something, and sometimes my husband sees me and he'll be like, "What happened?" I'm just like, I just have a gravitation, I get frustrated, and I just tell him, I just have a gravitational pull of a milk cow now. So, and it does feel like that. It does feel like your torso is just being pulled all the time towards the ground, because it does have the most weight on it. And, you're not used to that. So sometimes you just have to be aware. So the heat pad is for your back. Sometimes you're going to get cramps on your legs, and this can just be caused of your body adjusting, hormones, as well as dehydration. It can be a few number of things, but you're always going to have like a lot of body aches and pains, and it just feels like you're so fatigued and so tired, and like you will have a lot of different kind of weird pains that even scared me. And then I go to the doctor and they just explain everything, because I'm like, why am I feeling all these things? You guys aren't alarmed. And they're very nice, but I did pick my doctor, and I picked to have a doctor and their facility to be very knowledgeable and be there to be very expressive when I need it. So when I have questions, and I don't hold back, because it's my body, and when I'm alone, and it's not like they're right there next to me and to explain to me 24/7 what's going on in my body. So I pay attention to what's going on. I see them, and they explain to me why it feels that way, and I just have to go through with it. So when I do know why it's happening, I'm less worried, which makes me, I guess, less stressed and less slightly paranoid that it could be something bad happening to the fetus. So, it takes my worries away. So again, with the heat pad, I'm so sorry. I keep just going off of it. So the heat pad was something that my doctor's office did suggest. And and I think I also asked them, is it okay for me to use a heat pad? And they said yes right away. They said, and I said, I don't know if it's true, just I can put it everywhere in my body except for my belly. Is that correct? And they said yes. Do not put it next to your belly at all, not even on the sides, not on the top, not on the middle, not on the bottom, none of that. So you can put it on your feet on your calves, on your thighs, not too close, too high on your thighs that it could radiate towards the bottom of your belly. You can put it on your butt parts, on your entire back, on your neck, on your head if you want to. On your chest, you're not really going to need it there. I didn't really think that I needed it there. On my arms, I didn't think I needed it there. Where I usually needed it was in my lower back, and I still do use it from time to time in my lower back or my upper back. It's always my back part, and also my thighs. It's the inner part of my thighs a lot of times that I do feel a lot of cramps. And I have noticed this on my third trimester. So the cramping, it feels like, you know how you have, I think it's called dysmenorrhea, or like really, really hardcore cramps and muscle aches and pains during your period or before your period, and it's so bad that it's hard for you to stand up. That's the kind of pain I was experiencing. When I first had it, I was worried that I might have to go to, like, it might be like early labor signs, because usually before I was pregnant, when I would have that kind of sensation, it usually, it was always, the next step was I would bleed. So I was very worried at the time, that day and the next day, and paid attention, you know, to my underwear. I mean, the moment that happened and I was able to stand, I ran to my bathroom. Okay, not run, because it's dangerous for you to run when you're pregnant. I'm sorry. I rushed to my bathroom as careful as I could. I checked my underwear right away, and there was no bleeding, no nothing. Because, like I said, usually that, always that was associated with a period for me. So, also what really helped was during the time I was, my husband and I were enrolled, my class is already done now, but we were enrolled in a childbirthing class. And they gave us information on what to look out for, what is preterm labor, early signs of labor, and actual labor. So because that was the only thing I felt, and that wasn't even a part of any kind of labor, or there's some kind of a false labor too, that wasn't even a part of it. I just kind of felt like, uh-oh, is there something wrong, you know? And it was a little too early, because when even if you're in the third trimester, you know, your fetus is still not fully cooked and fully developed, you still don't want it to come out until it reaches 40 weeks. You know, that's the ideal week to come out. So a heat pad, if you want to use one of those that you boil water and you put it in and it's made out of rubber or it's electric, it doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is you were able to utilize that and put it on the muscle aches that you can, because as much as possible, I don't recommend taking any even over-the-counter pills like Tylenol, because you're also giving that to your fetus. As much as possible, I don't take any of that at all. So the heat pad, there was a few months that I had that thing with me everywhere I went. If I was in my bedroom at night, I had it on my bed. If I was downstairs on the couch, I had it on the couch, hooked up. So make sure you have that too. If you're probably not gonna use that in the first few months, like especially the first trimester, you're gonna use that more when the fetus is bigger. Usually, depending on how you're growing, it could be in the third month of your the first trimester. It could be in the beginnings of your second trimester. For me, it was in the middle of my second trimester that I needed it, and daily too. Next, get a body pillow. If you're not used to a body pillow, I've always had a body pillow my whole life, so I can't sleep without a body pillow or a pillow between my legs. So I already have that. It's very good because when you are sleeping on your side instead of your back, you're also releasing pressure on your back. You can't sleep on your torso, so you have to sleep on your sides. And the good thing about that is because when you're awake, a lot of times you could be sitting down, and it does put a lot of pressure on your lower back as well as the rest of your back. So you want to relieve that pressure when you're asleep and use a body pillow. And believe me, it will be very comfortable for you, because you're going to have all this extra weight and you're going to be on your back. At a certain point, because of all the pressure buildup, you might have you might have difficulty breathing, and it might be uncomfortable for you. So try to do it on your side, on the right or on the left. The body pillow really does help. And because you have something in between your legs and your legs aren't like this, and it is separated with a pillow, what happens is it does help the strain and the pressure of your hips as well as your back. So it, a body pillow doesn't cost that much. I'm pretty sure you can get a really good one in less than $50 with like the cover. So yeah, that's not very expensive. Make sure the skincare products that you use would be fine with your skin because of all the hormones that have changed, all the hormones, and it constantly is changing. Certain items might be too harsh on your skin. So make sure you go to something that is like sensitive for sensitive skin, non-comedogenic. Sensitive skin, there's sensitive skin on there. Try it out. Not every single product that's this sensitive skin will work for you. So try like a small pack. And you always have to still clean your face because depending on your skin, it's very common to break out during pregnancy because of the hormones. I actually have a friend that her entire pregnancy, from first month to right in the beginning of postpartum, she told me that her whole body was covered in acne, and she never had acne before. Just imagine, from her scalp to her feet, acne, back, disgusting. So what I've experienced though when it comes to breaking out, I did break out probably 5 total since I've been pregnant around my face. I had a big breakout here, 2 of them, and this is not an exaggeration. One was this big. Like the bump, it was so huge. It just felt like, you know how like sometimes if you have bumped your head that it would kind of protrude up? It felt like that. And it stayed there for days. It was really weird. It was painful, slightly itchy because your skin is expanding. That's why it's itchy. And it just kind of went away. So I'm thankful that it was just that. And where did I also break out? I think that was it, like on my head, on my head, and I think 3 to 5 on my face. I did prick 2 of them because I don't know if everybody knows this, but when you do try to prick a pimple, there's a certain stage of it, and not every single pimple you can prick, because if you do, you're going to have like holes on your face, and you're going to have like moon crates on your face. So you really don't want to do that. So it was a certain stage that I could prick it and it won't just disappear anymore. So I did that. And what I do is I use something sharp like a needle. Of course, I clean it before I do that. And I prick just the top layer of the skin. You're not even going to feel it. If you feel it, then you're not supposed to do it. I do that, and then I use like a paper clip to push it down, because if you do your hands, you're also putting in bacteria, as well as you're going to bruise your skin. And a lot of times, that's why you're going to have like scarring. So you're going to use like a paper clip to tear it out, and it shouldn't hurt. There might be a little bit of pressure. It could hurt maybe slightly, but it's not a lot. And there would be like some kind of huge bump or like something hard, that's disgusting that comes out, or whatever comes out. Maybe a little bit of bleeding, whatever. So I did that, and then of course I cleaned it. And what happened was I noticed it was almost starting to become like a staph infection again. So I was very, very, I knew what to do at that time to prevent it to evolve into a staph infection. Just remember my previous vlog and my pregnancy vlog, I did have a staph infection in my first trimester. So my skin was still reacting that way, so I was very, very careful. So what I did is I cleaned it. I put the Derma E antiseptic on it, and I put the prescription cream on it. And I also put... No, I didn't put any lidocaine on it. But I did put the Derma E and the prescription on it for a few days until I knew it was healing and it was sealing up. And it was at least 2-3 days. And that was fine. I didn't touch it again the whole time until it disappeared. And so it's gone. You can't see it. It's somewhere like right here. I don't know. I don't use any concealer or anything. So if I did have any kind of acne scarring, you would see it. Next, actually the cleanser is not just for the face, but also for the rest of your body. Make sure it is the type of cleanser that is not abrasive. What I mean about abrasive are scrubs. This can cause a staph infection and a rash, and you really don't want to do that. So make sure they're also gentle, but it does cleanse you. I mean, you're not going to be rolling around in dirt anyway. Hopefully not. So, you know, I mean, when you get rid of dirt, it's usually just water. You know, you don't need to keep on having 10 layers of soap anyway when you're cleaning off dirt anyway. But anyway, after that, make sure you have comfortable clothes. I know I've been criticized and I've had YouTube haters that have told me I look too simple or whatever. Hey, this is my channel and it's my video, and I want to dress the way I want to dress, which is comfort right now. Okay? I'm not here to impress anybody, and I don't care what you're going to say about what I wear. I know what I'm wearing, and it's not like I bought it for 50 cents, which is not a bad thing if you got your clothes for 50 cents. What I'm saying is, I know where I got my clothes. It might look simple, sweetheart, but it's not like I bought this at the dollar store. I'm not saying that's wrong, but it doesn't matter that it's simple. What matters is it's great quality. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to drop any brand names or anything. Get shoes with arch support. It will be kind of hard, especially like to me, I didn't buy shoes because your feet will expand, and it can be temporary, and it can be it could shrink back down, or it could be permanent. So I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to buy new shoes that I was just gonna wear for a few months. But if your feet are really, really like in pain, and you might be in a certain type of pregnancy that your feet are expanding and it's in the colder months and you have to go outside, then you're just probably going to have to buy a new pair of snow boots, because your feet are going to be very, like, my sneakers are so tight, my toes hurt. But I don't wear it every day. I try to wear it when I am walking around more often, because when I do come home, I just rub my toes and it's fine. If I don't wear my sneakers though, and I just wear flip-flops because they're more comfortable in that way, when I do come home, my whole feet and my calves are in complete pain for hours. So that's the sacrifice that I'm doing. It's just that I don't want to buy anything that I'm just going to use for like 4 months or 3 months, you know? And then my feet are going to shrink. Like, I feel like it's such a waste. Get healthy, wholesome snacks. Don't eat a lot of junk food, like candy bars. Don't eat a lot of, especially American candy, because that's a lot of corn syrup in it. A lot of bad stuff in those things. Don't eat a lot of junk food like chips. Try to switch to 100% whole wheat crackers instead. If the urges are too bad, I mean too much, then it is. But however, the downside of eating those kind of foods is not only are you going to gain bad weight, because it's not really advisable for you to gain too much weight, because your fetus is going to be so used to that much calories, and when they come out, they're gonna feel like they're malnourished, and so this can cause a lot of complications internally, mentally, as well as organs. So you have to watch out with that. You don't want to overeat. You don't want to. When people say you're eating for two, that's not true, because your fetus technically is not really a full human yet. Okay, so until it's born, that's why they're technically called a fetus before they're born, because they're not really, it's hard for them to still survive, until they're completely developed when they should be. So don't overeat and don't undereat, and don't eat a lot of junk food. Stay away from a lot of chips, a lot of fatty foods like Mexican food, or sodas, or like deep fried food. Just as much as possible, try to eat as healthy as you can. Candy bars and all that stuff. I mean, for me, actually, I eat fried chicken all the time. I forced myself to eat ice cream, and I was craving ice cream for weeks, so I ate ice cream every day. I do not like ice cream, okay? But I ate it, and I'm so glad that my cravings only lasted a few weeks, because like right now, it kind of like, ew. But at the time, I would salivate. And just because a lot of these don't really go to the fetus, a lot of this stay in your body, and it's not going to be ideal when your fetus separates from you and is given birth. Just imagine if the fetus is used to getting 5,000 calories or 10,000 calories in a day. They separate from you, and ideally you're only supposed to give them breast milk, or if you're not lactating or you're not latching on, then of course you're not going to lactate. You're giving them formula. It's not going to be enough calories for them, and that's the only thing that they should be taking, because that's the most nutrients. If you give them anything else, their development isn't going to be ideal. So what will happen is they're going to feel like they're starving. It's like having an obese person go on an extreme diet, and their internal organs are going to be doing too much work, that their body feels like they're malnourished, and they could have a heart attack. They could have a lot of problems because of the quick change of their diet. So make sure to eat foods that have high in vitamins, high in minerals, high in fiber, high in not so high in fat and cholesterol and all that stuff, because that can also be bad for you while you're carrying your fetus and your baby. Okay. I've been using the foot spray when my feet hurt, and I have showed you guys that a therapeutic foot spray. I like it. It is very soothing. It's just weird. I don't know if it's psychological, but I spray it on my feet, and I put my feet on the same height as my hips, and it feels wonderful. Also, try to keep your legs elevated. This prevents varicose veins. That is also what a lot of people don't want to talk about, because it's icky. Varicose veins are overly worked veins, and it's also protruding out due to pressure and being overworked, and it's tired. So what you want to do, like if you've been outside doing errands and all that stuff, and you want to take a bath or you want to shower, make sure you elevate your legs at least minimum 30 minutes. The longer the better. An hour would be ideal. If you do that and not get out before you take a bath and a shower, that will really prevent your varicose veins. Also, if you just elevate your legs every day, that also helps, because now that you're pregnant, there's so much pressure in it, and your circulation of your blood is even more. So That's why it's more prone for you to get varicose veins. So elevate your legs as much as you can on a daily basis. I know there are some people that they're pregnant and they're in a certain situation in which every day or most of the week of their days they don't have that liberty. So what you can do is when you get home, keep your legs up as much as you can, and wait an hour before you shower or take a bath and relax. The longer the better, but if you only have about an hour that you can sacrifice, then do that. Don't just go take a shower or take a bath, because that can also promote the varicose veins. Right after you've been walking around or standing around all day, or just sitting around all day, that also does that, okay? Make sure you always have water with you. So if you want to bring one of those refillable water bottles, or what I use is Perrier plastic bottles. I will use them several times. I'll wash them and I'll reuse them again. If it looks like it needs to be thrown out, then I throw it out. Make sure you do not skip on your prenatal vitamins. I will link down the prenatal vitamins I'm using. My previous doctor, which I do not like, and her office are thieves and liars. So this is what happened. We moved, and this office is further down away from us. And when this was back in October, and my appointment was in December, and I told them to, I'm not going to be coming back, because first off, my doctor, when she last examined me, the last time I told, oh my gosh, there's just like one hair going in my eyeball, but she didn't do the exam very well, that I was bleeding after the exam, and she wasn't really, I don't know, she just wasn't really that great of a doctor. She was just really close to where I used to live. So I was just like, all right, whatever. And the next doctor was like 5 miles away, and I'm like, might as well, because my other physician was in the same building. So I just kind of thought, I'll just do it this way. So when we moved in October, I told them I don't want to go back there, blah, 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 cancel my schedule. So they told me I needed to pay a no-show, and they threatened me that they were going to send it over to like delinquents or whatever. And I told them, I'm like, can you please talk to whoever is the supervisor there to get this squared out, because I have call logs, and I gave them all that. They never did. They gave me another statement and a secondary statement stating that it was still a no-show. They never worked on it. So her office is really horrible, and and she wasn't really like the greatest doctor, I thought. So anyway, I'm glad I don't live there, and I'm glad she's not my doctor anymore. But she prescribed me with prenatal vitamins that only had 30 pills. And it was $100. And my insurance said they weren't even going to cover it. I mean, that was after they covered it. It was $100. It's ridiculous. So I researched all the ingredients on that particular prenatal vitamin. And so I have a different one. It's actually, I've never had a problem with it. The development of my fetus is perfect. My new doctor now did look at the whole thing. I did, I showed them what it was. And they said it was a great, it was a great prenatal vitamin that I chose. Also, if you're trying to conceive, try to take prenatal vitamins at least 1 month before you're trying to conceive, because it will already train your body to have all these nutrients, and when your fetus is conceived, then it will already have that like already stored in your body. For me, because I was getting sick, and we were thinking of trying actually months before, but we didn't because I was getting so sick. I still took the prenatals though. So I think I was on prenatals for at least 3 months, maybe longer, maybe 3 to 6 months before we conceived or we tried, which was fine because it's not a bad thing. And when you look at the prenatal vitamins, it's you know, it's not a bad thing to take them anyway. And I did ask my doctor about that, and they said, if you're planning on it, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, but if you're not planning on getting pregnant, then yeah, don't take that. You don't need to take that. It's just extra cost. So prenatal vitamins, and I will link it down below for where you guys can find what I'm taking. Also, I now take 4,000 IU of vitamin D, E, which was recommended by my doctor as well. Initially, I was taking that 2,000 dosage instead of 4, which was recommended by a previous, not that one, not that OBGYN, but a different one from a different state, suggested I needed to do that. This was a few years ago. And so I did. And they just needed me to double it up. So I did that. Next, I did mention it already before. This has really helped me throughout my entire pregnancy. I have used this on and off. I have used this at least one in every month. Is the Derma E Antiseptic, and I'm going to link it down below. There's also a video of that in my review that will also be down below in the description box. I have also used the Lidocaine 4% because the 5% is, you can buy these for hemorrhoids. It's certain brands that have them 5%. But like I said, after my insurance, but everybody's insurance is different, this came out to $10, which is what I wanted to see if it was going to be more expensive, because the over-the-counter one was $20 or $30 for the 5%, I think. I will link that down below. So, you know, it just depends on you, which one you want to do. If you just want to do the Aspercreme, the 4%, which I've tried, which is like the cheapest 4% lidocaine, go ahead and do that. There shouldn't be anything, you know, there shouldn't be anything that should be bad. You might have to just use it more often, but you know, it's better than having to spend a lot more money, right? Okay. If you are itchy, try to treat it as much as you can and do not touch it. Do not, what I mean is do not touch it, do not scratch it, do not, just don't be abrasive on it. Try to use the Derma E cream. This is also available. It's called Derma E Skin Biotics Treatment Oil. What I do like though is that I mix this with a lotion that I have. It will have the same smell as the Derma E cream, but it's more potent because it's just liquid. What you have to consider is when you're rubbing oil, it doesn't really get absorbed as well as you rub cream or lotion in it. It's just how your skin, how human skin is. So what I would advise is if you do use this, use a little bit of some kind of cream. Or they also have a cream version of this. This is just like, I put it, like if I use the Derma E cream, it's very rare too, as you can see. I don't use it a lot. I usually mix this with like an ointment, just an over-the-counter ointment, like a Neosporin or something like that. And then I just mix this in there and it does an amazing job. But what I've noticed too is that what I've noticed is I'm good with just the antiseptic cream. This is just a topper if it's incredibly extreme. Then you add this. And I've added this a few times on certain things. But it's not, I don't use this as much as the antiseptic one. I think because it's a cream form. So also, this is actually in the, oh gosh, this is, you need this the most, especially in the beginning of your pregnancy. Odor eaters, deodorizers. I have Febreze everywhere because if there's something like, if someone's cooking or you're cooking and it's burning, you have to, the smoke smell is not really good for you and the development of your fetus. Anything that has to do with smoke. There's certain smells that are going to be very, very potent for you, that it's going to be very intoxicating and makes you gag, makes you nauseous, gives you a headache. Odor eaters, especially Febreze, works wonders. If you want to, you really can't skimp on it, because if you use the other cheaper ones like Glade and Airwick and all that stuff, all it does is add like a perfumey smell, but the stink smell that you're experiencing is still there. So try to invest in Febreze, and you don't really need a lot, just like a 2-second squirt. It should be fine. Always get odor eaters. I'll link all this down below, deodorizers, all that below. So I know I tackled on so much about this, you guys, but I feel like, I hope I can squeeze it in one video and help someone out there that is either trying to get pregnant in the beginning of pregnancy and you want to be prepared on things that you're going to probably need. Please do that. Also, the wholesome snacks that I mentioned, it's also going to help you keep your sugar levels in a normal state, because if you do the white carbs or light colored carbs, which that's what they also called the non 100% whole wheat. If it's not 100% whole wheat, that is all considered just a high in sugar or glucose, or just it will give you this burst of energy, and it will also like get you extremely tired after, because it will just do this to your body. Okay, so try to eat stuff like good carbs or dark carbs or 100% whole wheat carbs instead of the light carbs or the white carbs. Okay. Thank you guys so much for giving me the time, and thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this helped someone out there, and everything that I'm talking about is going to be linked down below in the description box. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you again, guys, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.